Hello, everyone. Hope that you're doing well today. There's been so much activity and so many people talking about the new picture of how Summer Wells might look today. I'm going to turn it down. Excuse me. I'm sorry about that. But you all know I like to start off with the Bible verse from Matthew 18, verse 6. But who shall offend one of these little ones which believe in me? It were better for him that a millstone were hanged about his neck, that he were drowned in the depths of the sea. Also note, hello, who are all in here, and thank you for coming. I like it if you say hello in the group, in the chat, where we can have a good discussion on this. And I want to say that the copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringed. Nonprofit, educational, excuse me, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. All right. So again, I want to say hello, and anybody is welcome to chime in to the conversation because this is a discussion. So I would like you all's feedback. So first, I want to get out about hello, hello, good to see you there, Jackie Cunningham. So glad that you're here. Thank you. How are you doing today? You got so good to see you too. Thanks for coming. Appreciate you. Now, when we started out, I think what I'll do is I'll show y'all, which I'm sure that y'all have already seen the updated of how Summer Wells that they say she would probably look today. Have you seen it yet, Jackie? Okay. I get it where I'll be able to see chat here on my phone. Okay. Of course, here's the Amber Alert Summer Wells. And good, thanks, Sterling. I'm pretty good, thank you. It's been a joy and a glorious heat wave. Yeah, it has been a heat wave, hasn't it? And it says, I'll show you a picture right here. It says on June the 15th, 2021, this is updated June the 14th, 2023. But on June the 15th, 2021, Summer Wells disappeared, leading to one of the most exhaustive and involved missing child cases we've ever investigated. Though we have no new details to share, rest assured, we're continuing to work with the FBI and the Hawkins County Sheriff's Office to chase every lead, ask every question, and search every place we can to find Summer. We won't stop until we have answers, which, of course, this is the TBI that is saying this. So you are working with the TBI, I mean, FBI also. And a lot of people wondered whether or not the regular FBI were involved too, besides the TBI. But that goes to show that they say they are working with the FBI also. So there's your answer right there, people. All right. Summer remains the subject of an ongoing Amber Alert thanks to forensic artists, the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. We have an age progression image that shows what Summer may look like today. We ask the public to help us by refraining from sharing speculation posted by or discussed by non official sources and reporting only credible tips or information to 1 800 TPI Find. This is the picture that they are saying she may look like today. To me, for being a soon to be 7 to 8 year old, that looks a little bit older in my book. I really think that still her pictures still looks a little older, but the thing about it is, if she was healthier than what she looked like before, maybe her face would be filled out more like this. Who knows? And of course, I'll go to the bottom of the page where a lot of these, and then scroll up, and then we end up where we are today. Of the beautiful little girl. It's beautiful. Girl, there's so many people that love you. We're hoping that you come back home to a safe place that you know you're loved. Many people are pulling for your little girl, oh, sweetie. The Hawkins County, the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation continues to work alongside the Hawkins Sheriff's Department, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, the Tennessee Highway Patrol, and numerous other local and state agencies to locate 5-year-old Summer Moon Utah Wells. They became the subject of a statewide Amber Alert on Wednesday, June the 16th. Did you notice the words here of a statewide? It did not say a nationwide. It says statewide Amber Alert. What's scary about that is, Kentucky's really close to Tennessee, as well as some of the other states too. She was reported missing at the Hawkins County Sheriff's Office at approximately 6:30 p.m. on Tuesday, June 15th. Hawkins County investigators immediately began working the case. Shortly after that, an endangered child alert was issued. New information and a growing concern about the well-being of Summer prompted the TBI to issue a statewide Amber Alert less than 12 hours later. When I first saw the picture of this missing little girl, my first thing was, about how short her hair was. My first thinking was like, did she go through chemo? A lot of chemo patients wear these little things over their hair, like head also. Look at that beautiful smile of that precious child. She did not deserve whatever happened to her. Summer has blonde hair, blue eyes. She's she's still around today. She stands over 3 foot tall, probably, and weighs more than 40 pounds, probably. She was reportedly last seen wearing gray pants, a pink shirt, and possibly barefoot. At this time, the circumstances of Summer's disappearance remain unclear. Should we develop information that she was abducted and have suspect and vehicle specifics to provide, we will share it with the public immediately. As this is an active and ongoing investigation, we cannot share specifics. A lot of people are wanting a lot more information than what they're willing to share, but that will hamper their investigation, and we need to understand that. However, we want to reassure the public that the TBI agents and Hawkins County detectives are looking into all possibilities in an effort to determine what happened to the 5-year-old. We're asking residents who live in the area of Ben Hill Road to please check any trail cameras or surveillance cameras they may have for video or photos of Summer. Like I said, this is startup of it. We also encourage residents in that area to check out buildings, sheds, or any other possible space where she could have sought shelter. While law enforcement conducts the investigation, the physical search continues. Numerous local, state, and federal agencies are working together with one goal in mind, finding summer. Teams have searched approximately 3,000 acres, utilizing all resources available. In addition to air and land searches, ponds and creeks are also being checked. More than 100 agencies have contributed to search efforts. Please only share information from credible sources. If it's not credible, if it's just hearsay, if it's speculation, make sure you note that it's speculation or guess. Or you can say, like, in my opinion, in my humble opinion. I would, we need to make sure we say that instead of we know for a fact. We cannot just assume. Anytime we're putting these speculations out there, it makes the case harder and more difficult for because too many people are calling in and giving false things to the police just on hearsay what they hear at YouTube or whatever. But they need credible information if we are to bring this little sweet girl home. She could get justice for what she does, whatever happened to her. Please only share information, like I said, from credible sources. Anyone with information is asked to contact the TBI at 1-800 TBI Find or the Hawkins County Sheriff's Office at 423-272-7171. Tips can be emailed at tips to TBI at tn.gov. Okay, and that was the first speculation of all that. All right, the first write up. Then it was updated the 18th at 10:05 to include the latest in the search for Summer Wells and the investigation to the circumstances surrounding her disappearance. Then the 19th, then it was included photos of the area where Summer Wells went missing. The search efforts and the terrain teams are coming through in hopes of finding her, which we'll go down here to show you some of the pictures. Look at the sweet, innocent child, y'all. Look how beautiful. Look how beautiful. See the air search? Probably need to click on each picture individually. Hopefully that would take me to the next one. I laugh at this picture. See how innocent and beautiful this child. Oh, I wish I could hug her. Be there for her, protect her. So sweet, so precious. Oops. So we go back out of that. So it's going back to that instead of like, okay, now let's get out of the picture. I don't think it wants to get out of the picture. Actually, yes. I think this is part of the property. One of the vehicles that was upon property. Broken down the truck. There's the air search. I guess that's the last of the pictures, maybe. I don't know now. Where they're coming through, walking on the woods. And whether a lot of people know it or not, the terrain is very steep. Please come in and give your opinion and your thoughts. I hope the noise in the background isn't too much. I do have my door shut. They are pressure washer our front porches, so it's very loud, and I'm sorry about that. Here's your medical search, Hawkins County Emergency. That's where they met up at that church, Federation of Fire Chaplains. Thank you so much for all y'all are doing to try to find this little girl home. Not a lady, she's a little lady. This is how their land was. It was biting me. It did not want to go to the next picture. I'm sorry. But this is how the driveway was, and it goes up and around, circles their whole property. Uh, and you see around on the outside of the drive how steep with the trees and everything is. You see how So it'd be difficult for somebody unless like you're somebody that has grown up in the area that's used to walking that terrain, uh, military personnel. There's some people that could actually get it around in some of the terrain, but highly unlikely. TBI said they're not speculating that she was abducted. This is more around where they met up, tried to with the resource center. Made up to find out this is where one of the divers was in the muddy water looking for find a body. One thing I hate about this when I go back like this, it's going to rewind back to all the other pictures. So it gets back to it gets back to other, but I'm not going to close out the whole page, so I'm just letting it do it. All right. There's a lot of different other pictures, and there's only one picture left that it didn't show. But don't y'all think that that little girl right there deserves to be found? Don't you think she deserves love, peace, justice, even if she's not around? She deserves to come home and be. And I pray to God that she's still with us, comes back, then has a very good life. And updated on the 22nd to provide photos of the incident command post and aerial photos of the search, which we just got through looking through the pictures. The 25th, it went to include the number of agencies that have assisted in the search. And then updated the 26th is when, as previously mentioned, they have been working around the clock to identify anyone who had been in the area around the time 5-year-old Summer disappeared to determine what they may have seen or heard, no matter how insignificant it may have seemed to them at the time. Every detail is important. In the process of doing this, we received information that a Toyota pickup truck was seen in that area at Beach Creek Road and Ben Hill Road in the late afternoon to early evening on either Monday, June 14th, or Tuesday, June the 15th. The pickup is possibly a 1998 to 2000 maroon or red Toyota Tacoma with a full bed leather rack along with white buckets in the truck bed. We have been unable to identify the driver of the truck. Due to this, we are asking this driver to contact us at 1-800 TBI Find. We would like to speak with you to confirm this information and ask what you may have heard or seen at the time. If you are the driver of the truck, please contact us. We want to stress that this individual is not a suspect, but is a potential witness. It may have heard or seen something that may help us in our search for Summer. I want you to know that this has been, it's about 2 years since she went missing. And if anybody is the owner of that truck or who has credible information, I plead with you to step forward and give that information. If y'all are part of it, please come clean. Please come clear and let us know. You might not want to go to jail or anything like that, but Summer deserves whatever. She deserves justice. She deserves the love. Updated July the 1st. We appreciate your partnership and ongoing interest in the search of Summer Wells. To date, we've vetted 730 tips. None have led to a solid lead. So please call 1-800 TBO Find only to report credible information, not speculation or rumors. That's where a lot of people are doing speculation or rumors. Doing so helps us get the most important information as quickly as possible. So on the 8th, we received more than 870 tips in the search of 5-year-old Summer Wells. See, back the first was July the 1st, where it was 730 tips, and the 8th, a week later, was 870 tips. The investigation remains active and ongoing as TBI agents and detectives with the Hawkins County Sheriff's Office continue to work alongside the FBI in an effort to determine what happened this summer. Residents who lived in the Beach Creek community near Ben Hill Road are urged to contact us with information if they haven't done so already. We also ask property owners in that area to call 1-800 TBI Find their surveillance or trail cameras that haven't yet been reported or reviewed by authorities. Smallest detail can prove beneficial to the investigation. All right. Then the next, we go on up, and it was updated. The next update was August the 4th, 21. And it's important to go and look at the minute details and all. And it's very imperative to do that. The investigation into the circumstances leading to the disappearance of 5-year-old Summer Wells remains active and ongoing. Agents and Hawkins County detectives continue to search for a 98 2000 maroon, a red Toyota Tacoma with a full bed ladder rack and white buckets in the truck bed. As previously mentioned, this stems from information investigators received that a truck matching that description was seen in the area of Beach Creek Road and Ben Hill Road in the late afternoon to early evening on either May June 14th or Tuesday June 15th. It's brought to our attention that a photo of what the truck may look like has been circulating on social media along with claims that the vehicle has been located. This is not accurate. Additionally, the photo was not released by law enforcement. It was not released by law enforcement. We continue to urge the public only to share information from official sources. We are also aware of individuals asking for donations from the public under the pretense they are assisting law enforcement in the search for Summer. Agents and Hawkins County detectives have not requested investigative assistance from any private citizen. Should we develop new information that could help in locating Summer, we will notify the public immediately. However, please understand that we cannot share specifics about the investigation itself as it is ongoing. But you know what's sad about a lot of this? It's sad that they said there's no credible leads. That's what's so sad about it. Checked out all them leads, and there ain't been any credible ones. Come on, we've seen so many different cues and stuff, and watching the videos of the parents and the other people that's involved. We pretty much know that and wonder why some people haven't been arrested, and just for their negligence. In November, TBI agents continue to work with the Hawkins County Sheriff's Office and FBI in an effort to determine what happened to Summer Wells. To date, we received approximately 1,500 tips. Most of those have been the result of misinformation being spread online. While we do not discuss specifics about evidence gathered in an ongoing investigation, we are doing everything within our power to find Summer. You know, what's so sad about that when they get the misinformation and they got to check out every detail, just trying to figure out. They were getting so much misinformation that, they couldn't really, it was hampering the investigation of the credible stuff. And so this was updated November the 10th, 21. The investigation into the disappearance of 5-year-old Summer Wells remains active and ongoing. I'm going down and I'll start answering these questions on how they answered it, all right? When was Summer last seen? Her mother reports last seeing her on the afternoon of June 15th at their home in the 100 block of Ben Hill Road. In order to preserve the integrity of the investigation, we will not provide additional information regarding the timeline. Do y'all see that? You all want, we all want, I'm suspect of that too. I would like to know their information and tidbits on the timeline. But as I said, we will not provide additional information regarding the timeline. All right. Next question is, have you searched the home and property around the residence? Yes, more than once, including the basement, crawl space, because a lot of people say I doubt they check the crawl space, but they check the crawl space. All vehicles, all outbuildings, barrels, and other items located on the property. Additionally, canine teams specializing in a variety of search methods have also been utilized. Have you searched the phones and computers belonging to the Wells family? Yes, working alongside the Hawkins County Sheriff's Office and the FBI, numerous subpoenas and search warrants have been obtained, resulting in any available digital evidence being collected, searched, and documented. This includes social media accounts. Also, note that a lot of people who might be involved in per se stuff could have burner phones. I'm not just talking about the parents could have burner phones, but just about anybody could have, the culprit, whatever. Have you searched the flower bed? There was not a flower bed. Summer's mother and grandmother stated that she was planting flowers for them shortly before she was last seen. Flowers are planted in pots, and yes, the pots were examined. Have you searched waterways in the area? Yes, dive teams were brought in to search bodies of water in the area. Have you conducted aerial searches? Yes, numerous searches from the air have been completed, especially during the first few weeks after summer went missing. Additionally, drones were used to map the area and to pinpoint bodies of water as well as any other points of interest. Will additional searches be conducted? Investigators will continue to search points of interest as they are developed as well as follow up on all tips regarding Summer's whereabouts. Have you collected and reviewed surveillance video? Yes, we collected surveillance photos and videos from a variety of locations. Additionally, the entire area was canvassed in an effort to locate any residential cameras that weren't voluntarily reported. Please keep in mind that the Beach Creek area of Hawkins County is very rural with few businesses and no traffic cameras. Have you questioned the parents? Yes, both have been questioned. Have you questioned neighbors and searched their properties? Yes. Have you questioned registered sex offenders in the area? Yes. Is there evidence that Summer was abducted? None that we developed at this stage. Is the FBI involved? Yes. They've been involved since the Amber Alert was issued. Additionally, in the first week, the FBI Child Abduction Rapid Deployment CAR team responded to the area. FBI agents continue to assist with the investigation. Why did you release information about a Toyota truck? An individual who travels through the area regularly as part of his job stated that he recalls possibly seeing a 98 to 2000 maroon or red Toyota Tacoma with a full bed ladder rack and white buckets in the truck bed. The individual stated that the truck might have been parked in the area of Beach Creek Road and Ben Hill Road in the late afternoon to early evening on either Monday, June 14th or Tuesday, June 15th. That vehicle was not captured on surveillance cameras. In an effort to cover all bases and identify the driver, the TBI, in agreement with the Hawkins County Sheriff's Office and the FBI, released the vehicle description. Our hope was that the individual might have information that could help the investigation. The driver has not come forward, nor have the hundreds of vehicles reported to us as matching the description panned out. So still, even though some has not uh, been, and we're saying, well, we're saying little things such as um, Robin Lane, she got a red truck. Don't you know that TBI already had to check out that too? Because I'm sure some of y'all have contacted TBI and told her about that, and I'm sure that they investigated that her vehicle as well. So I think we need to leave Robin alone about that because I believe they probably already did search that video. Updated, and this was 12/15/21. Been 6 months since she was missing. The case remains unsolved and weighs heavily on all those working to find answers. But her story has even touched the world. There's so many people in different countries that are so invested in this little girl. She is a loved little girl. At this time, there's no evidence that she was abducted. However, all avenues continue to be explored, including foul play and the possibility that she wandered off and became lost in the mountainous and rough terrain surrounding her home. We're asking anyone who saw Summer at any time on Tuesday, June 15th to come forward if they haven't done so already. All right. This is some of the terrain here. Look how steep it is. Oh my goodness. Now I see what they're talking about. Look at this steep terrain right here. Wow. Like I said, if you were raised in that kind of stuff, you could possibly do this. Or if you are military, ex-military, you'll be able to do it. But if going up straight up that one hill over this direction, I think there would be more of a problem trying to get up that way. But it seems like this trail looking thing on the left looks more plausible that it could be done than there could be a sinkhole or anything right there. So I don't know. I wasn't there to be able to say. But yes, look at these searches, these search pictures. All right. The investigation to the disappearance of Summer Wells remains active and ongoing. This week, teams return to Hawkins County as part of a planned search. Do you have any speculations you'd like to talk about? The same questions that for this one right here, okay, these two answers were not on the question there earlier. Is the Amber Alert still active? Yes, an Amber Alert remains active until a child is located. Is this considered a cold case? No, investigative work continues to occur almost daily. Really, I feel like it's a cold case when they're not able to find out the information. All right. And this was a year later at approximately 6:30 on June 15th, 2021. Summer Wells was reported missing from her home on Phil Hill Road in the Beech Creek community of Hawkins County. At that time, no one imagined we would still be searching for her a year later. We said from the beginning that this case is outside of the norm. There are few clues as to what happened to Summer despite investigators doing everything within their power to find answers. All possibilities are still being explored. Many of you have asked for details about what's been done in the last year. We can tell you that agents and detectives have worked thousands of hours on this case. Numerous search warrants have been executed, cell phone data has been analyzed, and any other available digital evidence has been collected, searched, and documented. This includes the social media accounts of those associated with Summer. Every one of them, Hunter, Allison, every one of them. Three large-scale ground searches have taken place in the last year with the assistance of more than 100 local, state, and federal agencies. Those searches don't account for the numerous other targeted searches that agents and detectives have done or following up on potential leads. For TBI alone, more than 100 agents, intelligence analysts, and support staff from across the state have been involved in this case. TBI agents working alongside the Hawkins County Sheriff's Office and the FBI have conducted nearly 170 interviews during the investigation. That does not count the hundreds of phone calls made to follow up on tips reported to law enforcement that were the result of non-factual information posted on social media. While investigators have been diligently working to find answers, they've had to deal with hundreds of tips generated by false information that in some cases have been intentionally spread across social media platforms. And I know some of the people that's doing it. And I think that if anybody that's involved in the case, if they're initially giving out misinformation, I think they really need to go to jail because they're hampering the investigation. That's another reason why I'm surprised that no one has been arrested. So to date, we've received well over 2,000 tips. The vast majority of those pertain to rumors and speculation. We know that this case has attracted the attention of many across the country who generally care about summer and want nothing more than to help find answers, and we appreciate the interest. However, we are also aware that some individuals are using this case for their own personal gain by spreading false information on social media posts as facts. Some go as far as to solicit donations. This has made a major impact on the investigation. See, and a lot of people say, why ain't she been found yet? These people that spreading this misinformation is hampering the investigation. Y'all are actually harming the investigation. Moving forward, we ask the public not to submit tips as a result of video you have viewed on YouTube or theory you have seen posted on Facebook. Please help us and only call if you have direct, specific information about the disappearance of Summer. We can't begin to express our gratitude for the support and assistance from the Hawkins County community and surrounding areas. The Mount Carmel Free Will Baptist Church provided the location for a command post during all three large-scale searches. Numerous organizations and businesses ensure search teams and investigators had food, drink, and other supplies. The contributions of the members of each rescue squad and volunteer fire department within Hawkins County simply can't be measured. We also appreciate the cooperation of the property owners in Beach Creek, most of which gave us whatever access we needed. Thank you all for doing that. I want to assure everyone who has been a part of this investigation or has been following this case that it is not code. We continue to follow up on potential leads and will not give up on finding Summer. And we didn't answer those questions that it was trying to talk about a second ago. And this was updated the 15th of November 2022. Investigation into the circumstances surrounding the disappearance of Summer Wells remains active and ongoing. In order to preserve the integrity of the investigation, we cannot discuss specifics. Unfortunately, we have no new updates to provide publicly. Said publicly, okay? So they may have information. They're just saying that they do not have new updates to provide to us publicly because they do not want to hamper the investigation. Should we develop new information that could help in locating Summer, we will notify the news media and the public immediately. All right, and here is the picture how she may look today. And I'll go back to the top of this, which was updated 6/14/23, which was yesterday. On June 15, 2021, Summer Wells disappeared, leading to one of the most exhaustive and involved missing child cases we've ever investigated. Though we have no new details to share, rest assured, we're continuing to work with the FBI and the Hawkins County Sheriff's Office to chase every lead, ask every question, and search every place we can to find Summer. We won't stop until we have answers. Summer remains subject of an ongoing Amber Alert thanks to forensic artists with National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. We have an age progression image that shows what summer may look like today. We ask the public to help us by refraining from sharing speculation posted by or discussed by non-official sources and reporting only credible tips or information to 1-800-TBI-FIND. Now, I posted a video earlier because of Fred, what is his name? Neighbor. Um, he had been arrested recently, and a lot of people are speculating that um, this was a sting operation or whatever. If you go back to look at my video that I did earlier today, I showed the police. They were, you can go to the link and see that yes, he was arrested on in June of this year. But if you look to the right, as I had shown, that this arrest basically was stemming from a case that was March the 3rd, 2022. Not March this year, but March 3rd, 2022. This case will be a trial, and I believe, go back and watch the earlier video, and I will get to watch when that happened. No, and is there anything anybody wants to say? Anything you like to say, Jackie? This is the, make sure to get to share this as well. And I am fixing to cut off my audio so that you'll be able to listen to this audio. The way I do have a habit of showing how to do this. Click right here. So if anybody's got
house where her brothers are playing.
So when her mother come in, she says, "Where's Summer?" She went down in the basement. She didn't answer, so she went down there, and she was.
The afternoon of June 15th, 5-year-old Summer Wells is helping her mother and grandmother plant flowers, but then reportedly goes in the house where her brothers are playing.
So when her mother come in, she says, "Where's Summer?" She went down in the basement. She didn't answer, so she went down there, and she was gone.
Now they can't find her. They've been yelling for her. She's been gone for about 10 minutes now.
Searchers converge on the rural area in northeast Tennessee. The next day, a statewide Amber Alert.
Some breaking news in Hawkins County. A little girl named Summer Wells, 5 years old. She went missing last night.
Hope God in His mercies will deliver Summer home to us.
For weeks, a massive search on the ground, from the air, and in the water. June 26th, police announced they're looking for the driver of a red or maroon Toyota pickup truck with ladders on the back, which may have been in the area on the night of Summer's disappearance. That driver has never come forward. All along, police saying they haven't found any evidence of a kidnapping.
Nothing pointing to abduction, nothing pointing to foul play, other than her walking.
So the screen was messing up when I was trying to go and do that. And so I'm going to see if it will let me play this. Search for Summer Wells. This was a News Nation Prime. I want to be sure to play this for y'all to remind, because every little bit of information about, sometimes when you have to go back at the past trip, maybe there might be a little tidbit of something we might not remember, but we get an idea which may help the investigation.
Have investigated and solved hundreds of cases. Of Summer Wells as well. We appreciate your time, Chris. Two things you said on your podcast recently that caught my attention covering this case. The first is 5-year-olds just don't vanish. And the second thing you said is in every investigation, you follow the evidence. So where is this evidence leading you right now with your experience?
Well, thank you so much for inviting me here tonight. I'm grateful. And I think right now, the evidence is potentially pointing towards somebody very familiar with that property in relationship to having access to that property.
Why do you believe that?
Well, it's based, on a couple of things. One, obviously, what we call the victim continuum, where you look at what, if you have like an L-shape type of graph. You have environment, situation, circumstance on the left side, and then you would have low, medium, high risk on the right side. And what you want to ask, a couple of questions to is not necessarily how did this victim disappear, but rather why was this victim selected? And you then, inquire into what was the environment, what was the situation, and what was the circumstance? And then you ask, are those activities low, medium, or high risk activities? In Summer's case, everything stays on the lower end of that victim continuum. So there's a high probability that this child was a targeted victim, and rather than a higher probability of a victim of opportunity. So somebody had to have access to that property to take this child immediately. That was my first opportunity or my first thought process.
The parents are, they're having to answer some very tough questions. They have said they have nothing to do with it. What do you think?
Well, I think, both of those parents have been interviewed numerous times. I think both parents are obviously innocent till proven guilty, like everybody else. But at the same time, the stranger abduction theory has been driven primarily by the parents, whereas law enforcement, even 5 months into this, has not said at this stage it's an abduction.
And listening to Brian's interview, as we just did, where Don said the only thing that she may have done, speaking about his wife Candace, was choose some wrong friends. I hadn't heard him say that anywhere else until tonight. What do you make of that comment?
I think that's a very interesting comment. Maybe she chose some wrong friends. Well, that would go towards the victim continuum hypothesis that somebody would have access to that property, potentially known to those parents.
Chris, I know you went down to Tennessee to find out who Summer was, kind of get a sense of her environment. And when you saw her room in the basement of the house, you say you had a good understanding. Will you elaborate on what you mean by that?
Yeah, I mean, I think we can all agree, that 5-year-olds just don't vanish from their homes, from their basements. And in this situation, I wanted to see in relationship to what a potential suspect could see. What were the access points? Could somebody have been lying in wait in the basement? What was her living environment? What was her circumstances around her? And then of course I wanted to see what the door mechanisms were, the points of entry, the points of exit. Could you see into that basement? Would a suspect know she was going to be in that basement? So I came to a better understanding of seeing the environment as a whole. There is no door between the parents' room and Summer's room, and it's just a brick wall. It's cold, it's damp, it was disheveled. You can tell, there were some other, things going on there. And Summer was kind of encapsulated to me in that room. And that's, I came to a better understanding of her victimology in relationship to being a 5-year-old child potentially.
And missing tonight, just vanished. Chris McDonough, we appreciate your time on this case. We'll have you back and talk about it more. Hopefully at the next juncture, we'll have some more information.
Smith, thank you for the invite.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I thought it was very important to go through there and go ahead and show that. Do y'all have any takes, or what do y'all believe had happened? What? Yeah, I'm thinking about our little Summer. She's so beautiful. It makes me so tearful. Being a survivor of horrific things as well. So I go and try to help other people. That's what we need to do. See the pictures of her, and I just want to start bawling. See how precious and how beautiful she is, and see how so many people all over the world loved her. Yeah, I feared that as well. And I hope that if that's the case, that they bring her back alive, and so that she can heal from all this other kind of that whatever's happened to her. Sorry about it. It really does hurt. It's like it's almost like Summer's everybody's little girl. You know what I'm saying? There's so many people that really love her, and it's all over the world. It's just not here in Tennessee. Oh wow. You started following her before I did. I saw the picture of Don, and I knew of that other story. I think I got two stories mixed up and intertwined at one time. There was another kid that was missing, and the daddy had hid her out in the shed. That was a different story altogether, but I believe it was in Tennessee as well. Um, So I had got mixed in between the two, and I said, "Oh, so they found her." And I was still thinking of the Joe Clyde Daniels case at the same time, even though his was before Summers' case. Yeah. Did you see the picture? How they updated how she might look today? Have you seen that? Yeah, I cry about baby Joe Clyde Daniels too, and he hasn't never been found either. It really hits hard. Difference between Joe and her is that Joe was autistic. He couldn't talk. The parents in the Joe Clyde Daniels case were psychological. I, I don't really I'll tell you how I feel about it. That photo makes her look older, like a 10-year-old or something. It don't. In no way do I see her age. No way do I see. She looks older, even close to being what we call the teeny bopper stage. You know that you're in the position between a teenager. You know that age type of thing because a lot of her permanent teeth are showing in that picture. But as somebody said earlier, that I believe they updated every 2 years. Yeah, and that picture does look a lot like Rose. Yeah, very beautiful. So, and I can still remember her little giggles when you're thinking about the video when she's being pushed on a swing and how she like wee, and laughing. That just melts my heart. I wish we had seen more videos of laughter and all that kind of stuff. I am too. I think she knows more than what she's saying. I think she's trying to blame other people. And that's why I'm saying I think, it's my own perception. I really do. My thing is, doesn't anybody tell the truth? Why does everybody's stories keep changing? And who was that recently got arrested? Frank who? Fred who? I did an earlier show on him. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, because she used to babysit and all that. Yeah, Fred Hill. There we go. I don't want to get him mixed up with the light and so Fred Hill Jr. Yeah. Um, some people had speculated about um, that he got arrested basically after that. This all happened after you know they went to Arkansas, right? But I did an earlier show today where I went to the site which showed his arrest, which showed his arrest date, which showed his charge date. So he got charged basically, the case opened March the 3rd, 2022. All right. So him manufacturing all this, it was March the 3rd, 2022. So a lot of people that's saying, oh, a sting operation recently. Okay, that's not true. And see, that's what they're saying about the speculation into the Summer Wells. It's hurting Summer Wells' case. Get all these people speculating about this too as well. Because when I showed it earlier, and you can go and watch it if you like, um, but it actually says March the 3rd, 2022, with these two things. And then I show when it's going to go before the judge. And he's going to have to pay, like they said, he's probably going to be in jail the rest of his life, probably because he ain't never going to be able to bail out with that high of a bond. And I'm wondering also, a lot of people say, I wonder why so high the bail. Well, if you go and look, that he had also been arrested before for shooting somebody before. Yeah, there is two charges. Yes, two different charges. One of them had to do with doing it in some residence, I believe, which means a lot of times when they get caught doing that in their own residence, a lot of times the government go ahead and take that property away from them. But I do agree that that's really hefty charges. And what makes me so mad about this is there's so many pedophiles that mess with kids that they don't get charged like this. They get a slap on the wrist. And whatever a pedophile, a sex offender does to a victim, it scars them for life. There's some physical changes that they're never able to get over. I mean, it's not just mental. I'm talking about there's actual physical damage because it's not supposed to be where a grown man does these things sadistically to a child or not even another child. Kids need to keep their innocence as long as possible. Let them be kids. Let them swing. Let them swim. Exactly. So no telling what really has went on throughout her entire life. We hear the stories of cases of the criminal records that both the parents got. We've heard Don even say that he's been to California in one of those places where they sold kids. Exactly. It is very sickening. And see what a lot of people don't understand. Remember when it was first out there and everything, and how many parties that the Wells were really having, and how many people were really coming up there and staying and partying. So all them culprits who's ever been over there partying, and even that one pedophile that they let him stay in the dang shed on the property. Anytime he had a fight with his wife, he let him come on up there and be around my kids. Yes, he does. It's almost like if it had been me or you, I promise you that if we would have said and we would have told this thing and we would have changed our story to this thing and all this, we would have done been under the jail. But their stories just keep changing, so we don't know. So to me, that is hampering the investigation, and I am so surprised that they are not arrested for even hampering the investigation. They're the ones that keep changing the stories. Even the negligence is a crime. It's a form of child abuse. not a place for children up there at all. It was like just a party place, a drug place. What do you think of that? I think a lot more could have been done and should have been done. I also wondered, when like there were videos from JHL and different ones and news channels where there was still the mattress against the outside of the house. And I was thinking, why did not law enforcement take the mattress? Why did they not take the mattress and the pillows and all this stuff and test those? That's the biggest question I had too. But instead, we kept seeing the nasty mattress laid inside the house. Well, it's almost like after 2 years, you would have done thought that with all that they said, where Donna said that somebody came in the house and just killed my daughter, or another time, or he's actually even said, um, I know where she's at. She's down there at that hotel down the road from there. I want to go down there and I'm going to get her because somebody's raping her. How would he know that she would have been in that hotel room? You know what I'm saying? For him to even say that, I know she's down there in that hotel room and somebody's, doing something to her now. Okay, if I'm a parent and I know that my kid is down there in the hotel room and somebody's doing something to them, I would be down there with the police and say, get my kid out right now. Excuse me. Like, get my kid out. He's the reason why there's so much misinformation that everybody's getting, and so is Candace. It's not everybody at YouTube's fault because everybody's going by these different stories that they keep telling. And something that absolutely burns me up is the fact how Don actually says, why can't we just get over it and move past? She's been missing 2 years. What, you want to see me in jail? He's actually said that on the lab. Why do y'all want to keep this going? Y'all want me to be arrested? That right there says pure guilt. Why is TBI and everything not stepping up when they hear this kind of stuff? And they are listening and hearing. Exactly. Really sadistic. And when he says on that JL, I think it was JLH radio TV station, I'm not sure what station you call it, but he's actually said, and we just now got her back. And yet she's gone again. Where'd you just get her back from? Where was she prior to this? What I'd like to know too. Yeah, I hope so. I think what they're trying to do now that Fred is in jail and Fred is a hothead, shooting at people, or is that the light one? Well, I know Fred got in trouble for shooting somebody. Um, I seen that when I was looking him up. And then that case ended up get dropped or something like that because it might have been like self defense and the other guy he stepped on his property. Oh, Fred's talked. Fred's talked a lot on the. I don't know if you watch Ziggy. He's talked a lot on the Ziggy channel. And Ziggy's good friends with him and his girlfriend. She's actually got his phone number. So he's told her a lot of information that he knows. And she said that she thinks it's kind of strange that all of a sudden he's arrested. But she said these others were arrested also. And she thinks it's a sting operation. Then I went done research and I seen that the date of the case of the charges basically was March the 3rd, 2022. I hope he talks more too. I think there's a lot more that a lot of knows about. And anybody he sugarcoats and gives C and D, money, I think that they should rot because the kids are gone. They were never taken care of. All I think is when we give C and D money, I really feel like it's feeding their addiction. And I don't want to pay for anybody's addiction. Plus, they're not coming out with the truth. They're standing in the way of law enforcement getting all the facts. They're covering it up. Somebody has even seen, supposedly, exactly, why are they helping them and babying them and saying, we believe you, and yet before they ever met them, they were dogging them and everything, and then they met them and say, "Oh, you can't be that bad, poor girl." They're feeling sorry for them. But you know how many times the victim, the perpetrator, really sinks somebody in there to make them feel like they're really innocent, and then that keeps covered up and victimizing the people that's trying to make it as firm stand, try to find out what's going on. All that does is hamper the situation even more. Giving these people places to hide. And right now, with the DNC being around the grandkids and the kind of threats that you hear that he's going to knock out of the boy, out of the grandson. I'm not going to say the word, but I'm going to knock out of the grandson. You don't need to say that around the kids. That's vile. That's violent. Yes, and they're still letting them around the grandkids, knowing whatever and all. That's very scary. Why was they leave with? They should not even be around any kids whatsoever because they had their other kids taken away. Every one of them. And now, since the granddaughter and since the kids are actually taking the grandkids around them too, they might end up losing custody of their children also just because they're taking them around these perpetrators. No, they shouldn't. You're right. You're 110% right there. Could I ask you what your take was? Have you ever watched the show on the Dr. Phil show? Oh, yeah, it's all wrong. I noticed more people think that she cried more because the cornbread mafia thing was mentioned, but I seen why she really cried because what she had said as and as she was taking off her thing, the microphone, she goes, I don't want to be interrogated. I'm being interrogated. Don't you want to find the answers if you're not the one that actually did the crime, don't you want to get to the answers and find out what happened to your daughter? If you really love her that much, you're not a part of all that. Thought it was all strange. But if she would have stuck around, I know that Dr. Phil would probably really got it to her really good and got more answers out. But he was trying to get the repertoire with her going. Oh yeah, it was a mess for sure. And you can look at times, narcissists. They seem believable. They actually do. They seem believable, and then you go and hear them on a live when they're drunk or something, and then it's like, oh gosh, and the kids had to hear that. Oh man, not good. Well, if you look up the Cornbread Mafia, that was actually something that was stopped a long time ago, and it's mainly in Kentucky. There are some books about it at Amazon, and they were into doing marijuana basically. So there's some books about who the Cornbread Mafia were. And it's about marijuana, and it says that the group got dispersed. But does not mean that there are some other people that are copycatters who are trying to portray themselves as that. Usually there are copycat criminals. That little girl, she deserved better. The brothers deserve better. All their other kids deserve better. She's even calling them cornbread mafia. Oh boy. But the cornbread mafia, they call them the local criminals, cornbread mafia. That is giving them a better name than what they are actually, because these local criminals, a lot of them are pornographers or pedophiles. Cornbread mafia is a lot different than what's being said. They're trying to put a different name on it because they know if they look it up on Amazon or whatever, there's books out about it, about who the cornbread mafia are. So I think they're just trying to run amok about being scared. I thought it was kind of weird how they had her dancing out in the rain in front of that big orange red canister that said for sale. That will never leave my mind there. And if they were showing that video and if people locally saw that, they would look for the opportunity to grab her because of the fact, because these stupid pedophiles out there. Yeah, I think so too. Because somebody was saying that uh, some signs of trafficking, I'll tell you what some people said, that shows that a kid is ready by shaving their hair off. That was done right. By dancing out in the rain on a video like that. And by also the color red is a symbol of that as well. And do you remember the video where Don actually had painted the red can after Summer went missing? He had painted it purple. And this guy who worked with human trafficking before, who I thought who claimed he did, was saying that that was symbolic that the deal was done. But there's all the proof that they need. Oh yeah, that's for sure. And they used. That's why some people try to ask some of these people like Andy to please take pandas off your page because that's one of the signs about pedophilia. But he refused to say he likes pandas. Kind of creepy if y'all ask me. I used to like pandas, stuffed animals, and all that kind of stuff, but now I would not give a panda to my grandchildren. Horrific. And that little boy, when he was next to Don on the camera, on the news camera, when Don was talking, that boy had so much shame on his face. He looked down as if, like, almost like to say, I know I'm going to get blamed for this. Crazy. Oh, and the weird thing is that they said that they were expecting CPS to come the next day, right? But now Don claims that they came the day before Summer went missing and cleared them. I doubt that CPS would have came and cleared them because they did not have the house ready. The house was nowhere near suitable for the children because they even said in a live before, and which I think they forgot about them telling us, they were given a time limit to have the housework done and to have the house suitable to bring the kids back. That Don took each child when they were about Summer's age 5, head shape. Oh my, that's not good at all. Wow. Well, for him to know in California when he went to that place where they sold kids, which he had said on camera, on live, that he has been there where they sold kids. He was in there while they were selling kids. They would only let somebody in there who they knew and trusted, who is a usual person there. They would not just let any Tom, Dick, or Harry in there. You know what I'm saying? He had to be a frequent person in there. Yeah, he knows. And like I believe too, that he would have been able to have access to other vehicles because he's got work vehicles. And I believe that's why he wasn't concerned about taking that red car for that day, if he did take it that day, because the story keeps changing. He said, no, I took it the day before. I didn't take it that day she went missing. But then his story keeps changing. But the weird thing is when you're doing spackling and you're doing drywall, and you got a new car, you really do not want that spackling and that stuff all over the seats. And so I really believed he used one of the work trucks because whenever you saw the live videos that some of the other people, BHB, if you know who I'm talking about, MGL, DLR, when they were over there video recording, they would have never went to his work had he not told them to come up and talk to him. He invited them to come up and talk with him. So they went up to talk with him. And then when they show up, they're shooting up there or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Crazy. So then they're saying, well, I made the distance from way up here to down here to talk to, and you tell me to come down. So, of course, they're going to want to talk about it. We're not just going to sweep it under the rug and act like summer never existed. Heck, we're Summer's army. We're there for Summer. We're there for the other little kids. We're not just going to forget about it. That everyone needs to just try to get together and just work together on this, and nobody come on and condemn anybody for getting the story out either. No, they didn't expect us at all. They didn't expect it to grow. I don't think they ever expected it to get further than Tennessee, which is sad to say that a lot of people still in America does not even know this story. A lot of people I bring it out in Tennessee and some places never heard of this story. There's a lot of people in Alabama and in Georgia that don't know nothing about this story. So how many people might have actually seen her, if she was trafficked, might have seen her, but never ever once had known that she was a missing kid because it was not put out there. It was put out there, the statewide Amber Alert, as I mentioned first. It was a statewide Amber Alert. It was not a nationwide Amber Alert. It's like, what do you do? And we will not succumb to what Don or Candace wants us to do or say. It's not about Don and Candace. It's all about Summer. It's all about her getting justice, getting the answers. And I really think that the kids will feel a lot better once the truth does come out, even though they're probably scared as heck. Whoever done this is not a good person. Everybody responsible. And of course, even as a kid, when I was going through the trafficking as well, I wasn't remembering what was going on. I wasn't remembering the essay. I wasn't remembering it. I didn't remember. I kind of like put a brick wall up, so I didn't remember any of it. These kids, they might be in the same situation and circumstances. They might not remember it right now. You know what I'm saying? Everybody acts a little different, and sometimes we compartmentalize it because it's a little bit too much for us. We start blaming ourselves like, why weren't we loved and cared about? Now, I hope and pray these boys are being loved and cared about too. Yes, I agree with you. I think a lot of us can see a little of Summer, little of ourselves in little Summer. Yes. Oh man, imagine how beautiful and everything. Do you know? Yeah, that's a brain coping. You're right. A lot of us can see. rid of ourselves in summer. It's true. And yeah, that's a coping mechanism. But for so long, people have asked me, said, how come you didn't remember it? How come you didn't do nothing about it? How come? Like, I did the best I could. I did the best I could. Surviving is the number one thing. And when I tell these stories, and it really does touch my heart because I have been there. I'm one of the lucky ones. I'm alive and around to tell about it. One of the lucky ones. I'm sorry you have my tears. We need to really advocate and try to figure out what's going on with this. We are not going to succumb and will not remain silent. We are Summer's Army. Yeah, it makes me feel the pain, knowing what I had endured and remembering some of the things and knowing what they probably endured and have endured and hoping, praying that she's not enduring that too. No, we won't stop. She needs justice. Too many kids are missing in Tennessee and they're missing everywhere. There's so many cases in different countries of children missing. It's everywhere. Yes, it does. It's kind of like a slap in my face when I'm seeing nothing being done to the parents as well. It's like just slapping me back in there like you don't matter. I was like telling me that summer didn't matter. You know what I mean? When no law enforcement is even arrested them for negligence, You can also, you can arrest somebody for the negligence, but then you can also add more charges as they come up. You know what I'm saying? Especially the investigation, throwing all these roadblocks in there. There's something up with that should be done. And it makes me so mad that I'm a spokesperson. There ain't not a dang thing I could do about it except for get the word out and keep her name out there. It angers me so much. It makes it, you know, I get very emotional about this kind of stuff. Because the reason why I share my story is because too many other kids are suffering. Too many other adults have been through the same scenario as I have. Yes, they all normalize it. They want to put it through our schools, and they want to. Have y'all ever seen Grassroots Armies here at YouTube? They have got so many videos of the school systems put books out there about like a parent or somebody having sex with a kid and letting it into our local libraries, letting them say that it's okay because my daddy loves me. It's okay for him to do this. It is not okay, people. So these people, grassroots army, and people are going to the school boards and having meetings trying to say, take this out of our schools. Don't normalize. Take these books out of our schools. Our kids should not be reading this and saying it's okay, and it's very graphic. But Daddy pulled his pants down and showed he had his hot member and all this kind of stuff, and then it goes graphically. It says it graphically for our middle school kids. even though the book says for adults only, they're going and placing it in our schools to normalize and saying it's okay. This is what it's supposed to be. One of the books actually says that one of them had read at the school board and said, well, if it would have been somebody my own age to teach me about this kind of thing, it would have been all right. It would have been all right for him, for somebody my own age or somebody a couple of years older to do this to me. It would have been okay. At least my daddy taught me how life's supposed to be. That ain't the way life's supposed to be, people. This is telling our kids this is all normal. This is normalizing child sexual abuse, y'all. This is saying it's okay. Like I said, y'all be sure to look up Army, Grassroots Army here at YouTube, and you'll see some videos, and you'll hear some of the people, some of the parents right there trying, and a lot of these school boards kick the people out for voicing about telling them to get this books out of the schools. It's not okay. Not okay at all. And then by law, we're required to send our kids to school, y'all. What kind of education are they giving our kids? Yeah, I hope you do. He's got other things on this thing too, but I would advise, the thing about, school boards and stuff like that he's got on his lives, and you would see like a grandmother, a father at a school board and all this. It's actually the school board that's doing it and allowing it. And they say, well, we just want to let our kids learn. They don't need to know that certain stuff. They need to learn reading, writing, and arithmetic. That's what school's about. It's not to teach them that sex abuse is okay. It's not to tell them that, okay, since somebody my own age raped me, it's okay. No, any kind of rape is not okay. Let a kid keep their innocence for as long as they need it. Absolutely wrong. That right there is the school boards grooming our children to accept it. And for that, if the school boards don't do it, something needs done with the state and be sued and stuff like that, since they're allowing this kind of action to happen in her said state that you're in. A lot of more parents need to stand up and we fight this. We got to fight for our kids. We don't need more and more kids missing like some. We don't need another kid to become another statistic. We don't need this. This should have stopped a long time ago. Should have never even started. The bad thing is now that we have the internet, so there's a lot of portals and stuff where the pedophiles can really come out of hiding now. Y'all know what I'm saying? So now they're really showing their true colors. A couple times, since I'm at a dating site, there was like one of the guys that wanted to meet me before. He said that he was SA'd as well, like I was as a little child. But you know what he ended up telling me? He ended up saying, well, we could go and use that to our advantage and prostitute ourselves. I said, oh, hell no. I'm a survivor. I'm not a whore. I'm not a prostitute. What was done to me does not define who I am. And I do not want to meet up with you. I don't want to be with you because I don't want that kind of life. Oh, yeah. It has become their playground. And recently I also showed some things on Sheriff Grady Judd. Boy, he caught a lot of people in Florida with the pedophilia stuff. We need sheriffs like him all around. But you know what I think part of the problem is too? Have you ever heard the case of Gracie and Grant Solomon? Yeah, right. Yeah. You heard the case of Gracie and Grant Solomon? Sammy Sparrow? If you haven't, please look it up. There is a lady's got an in-depth on that. And there, Governor Bill Lee is involved with it, the governor of this state. Also, there is a state representative. I think he's a state senator here that's involved with that case. And then the judge that's married to the state senator, he's involved as well. And they're letting all these pedophiles. Basically, there was a 3 or 4 year old who was raped inside a Sunday school. The Sunday school teacher was a younger fella, and he raped the 3 or 4 year old little boy. Well, the judge and all dismissed it. That same judge, Deanna Johnson, in Tennessee here, Franklin County, I believe. Then there was Brentwood Academy, also here around Nashville, where one of the students was gang raped. And the judge swept it under the rug and said, don't need to be talked about, nothing to do, nothing to see. And if you look up Freedom for Gracie, she's at YouTube. She tells her story out of courage and faith. She deserves a lot. Tell you the names what? Okay, look up Gracie and Grant Solomon. Trouble in Franklin, Tennessee. There is a lady that's got a long video that goes with a timeline. And Gracie's daddy was essaying her, and the church knew about it, which also was affiliated with the same school. The church had a school too. And the school was basically telling her to shut up about it. They were not protecting her. The guy was a sportscaster. He abused his wife also. But the funny thing is, the reason why I'm mad about it even more because Governor Bill Lee goes to that church, the governor of the state of Tennessee, the state senator that's also affiliated with those other SA cases, who's letting it sweep under the rug, as well as Judge um, Deanna Johnson, also as well. When we got these judges who are permitting this atrocity, they even forbade the judge, Deanna Johnson, also forbade the mother from letting the daughter have any more charges against the father until the girl turned 18 years old. The judge, even though the daughter said he just brought me back from raping me, okay? That he just brought me back from raping me, and the judge said, "You go with him. You go with him." She still made her go with him. And when Grant, her brother, had turned 18 years old, he was about to testify on the sister's behalf about the daddy essaying sister, but the daddy had called and told the boy that he had to have baseball practice, and there was really not a baseball practice. But the weird thing is, his daddy was the only one who was at the scene, and the boy supposedly got dragged by the car and died. The boy had no drag marks on him. Asphalt would drag and have burn marks on your body. A lot of things was very suspect of that, and they covered for the case of that also and said that there's no foul play in it. They just let it go, and the only one that was there was the daddy, the only one, the only one, the only witness. And on a video, on a video somebody got, you can hear the audio of it being recorded, and it says that well, there's three guys down there in the ditch with my son now. How is he doing? He said he's not moving. You heard the fire engines or the ambulance? They showed up. Guess what? There wasn't no three other people there. The daddy was the only one there. He was lying. He would not get down there where the son was. There was no drag marks on his body whatsoever. There were no scuff marks on his shoe and everything. That's where it's justice for Grant and freedom for Gracie. So be sure to look up the Gracie and Grant Solomon. But all these people, including law enforcement, are protecting the daddy, the pedophile, the possibly murderer of his own son. They're all covering for him. You might ask why? Let's just say money. Money talks. The daddy ended up getting like $1 million or a little more than $1 million or so from an inheritance from an aunt dying. So I guess money talks. So they can do anything, anything. And yet they're actually even praying that something would happen to us people who are talking about it. They said that we are defiling God, that we are an insult to God for bringing this kind of stuff up, that we should just never let this kind of stuff out of our mouth. We need to just shut up about it. It's not the way, I don't think God works that way. God wants us to help one another with stories because that's one reason why at the first start of my shows a lot of times I will go ahead and put that Bible verse up showing it was better that someone tie a millstone around their neck and throw themselves off to the depths of the sea than it is to harm one of these little ones. So you can tell I'm an advert speaker against this kind of thing happening. and and let's all remember to keep Precious Summer in our thoughts and prayers, as well as a lot of these other missing kids out there. Oh yeah. And at times, remember how people have asked why I had seen some people, I don't know if you've seen them, that they asked Don why he went to Franklin, Tennessee. Y'all remember those times when people asked why he went to Franklin, Tennessee? Yep. And I think it's kind of funny that that's where the judge and Judge Deanna Johnson, where that Senator Johnson are up there too. And maybe one reason why he's not getting arrested is maybe they've got his back. I don't know. I don't really know. But it's just a thought. In my humble opinion, honest opinion, it's all in Tennessee. And they're covering up for all the SAers. So what's that tell you? And with him making a trip, very strange. It could tie in or it might not tie in. We don't know. But it's still a possibility. So that's why I'm saying get all the information on cases that's in the area such as the Gracie. And you see how the government is so corrupt there in Franklin, Tennessee. You see people ask, why did you go to Franklin, Don? Why did you go to Franklin? And then when I looked up what was going on in Franklin, Tennessee, I found that information out. Very sick, it's very sadistic, and everything. So please, if y'all can, I would hope that y'all would go and support Freedom for Gracie. She's also got an Instagram page if y'all got Instagram. Um, it's Franklin, Tennessee. That's close to Nashville, Tennessee. I'm sure you probably heard of Nashville, Tennessee. And it's very ironic too when she also got a YouTube of Justice for Grant, and her mother has helped running that as well. And his link will have videos proving what I'm saying is true and more about what happened to him. It's very sad. I wouldn't either. I wouldn't either. But I don't know if you watch The Lab or not. For anybody that don't, I would advise that be another one to watch because he's actually. Do you know? You know who Brandy Neal is? Brandy Neal is Monkey's mother, and she begged Don when Don got up there on the podcast one time and begged him, please try to get with this certain group that would look for Summer cold cases files or something like that. They would go, and even Chris Madonna said, "I would step out for doing an investigation. Since I helped that case thing, I would go and I would step down, and that would make you still want to go and do that." People look for Summer, and he refuses. He refuses. Well, Brandon Deal missing her son Monkey. You know about the case about Monkey went missing too. They still haven't found him either. So you know how hurtful that is for somebody that's a parent tries to get someone else to care enough about your child to do anything to try to find your child. He's refused. That speaks volumes as well. But what I was getting at with Brandy Deal thing, and when you say that about Tim Mullen, He actually tried to reach out to Monkey's mother, and she didn't want to talk to him. Like, I'm not going to talk to Tim Mullen. Mullen was probably going to try to talk to her into being her. Yes, she is. She's such a sweetheart. I hate her having to go through all this, what she's going through. And I pray that he is alive. He's such a beautiful little boy. So pretty, so handsome, so cute. It's going to tug at your heartstrings. But I thought that was very sick for him to try to reach out to Brandy and try to be her media manager. I'm sorry I say meteor because that's what always what Candace called it, meteor, the media manager. Yeah, I do too. They deserve answers and love. They don't deserve the condemnation that people's giving them. I've had so many people that used to be my friends, and then I started sweeping them to the side anytime they put down Brandy. Come in the room and bash her. It's like, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't accuse the mother. They've been cleared. Stop accusing them. They've been cleared. That's one thing you can say about her. They have been cleared. But Don and Candace have not been cleared. There's something up. Even if they say that they passed lie detector tests or whatever, and to know that they still ain't been cleared, excuse me, there's more that we don't know about them. You know what I'm saying? I would say Tim Mullins better leave Randy alone because there'll be a lot of people after him. You leave her alone. She don't want no part of him. Not at all. Yeah, I don't either, sadly. I think that they were talking about before about some other people that they talking about there was some other church or some other people like that that lived close that were pedophiles. But they undug. Did that couple who said that they did something to my monkey? Were they ever let out of jail, or are they still in jail? Yeah, and you see that. You could compare the couple between the monkey's parents and with Donna Candace. Donna Candace don't cry. They don't act like they're hurting. They only act like they're hurting when they're up there to try to get money. You know, that's sad to say, but I laugh because it's an oxymoron. And when you hear the video of when Candace was crying to Mary saying Don had been arrested, it was a prank. She never once heard her sob like that when it came to Summer or any of her kids. It's always been crying about Don or her being interrogated. What about little Summer? What about her? Wasn't being asked questions to try to get to the root and try to investigate? Maybe there's something that you didn't realize that might jog a memory of a little bitty thing, a little bitty inkling that you might not realize. By answering these questions, don't you think that it's better to try to find the solutions instead of becoming more of a problem? They still are in custody? Okay. Yeah. Well, I want to thank you for coming, and I think we had a pretty good talk today. Thank you for having this conversation with me. Appreciate you. If you ever want to talk or whatever, feel free. Sounds like for somebody to get up here and talk with me, get on the live and say their opinions sometime as well. Sometime if you like to do that, we can. You're welcome to. And I want to thank everyone for caring enough about little Summer, Summer's brothers, and all these other kids that's missing. And standing up and saying, we're going to keep their lives. We're going to keep talking about it. We're not going to be quiet. We want something done like yesterday. Oh, yeah, that's for sure. Well, of all I think it was about 9 kids total, if you add everyone up, that they all lost. They don't have a single one, but it's sad that they are around other kids at the moment. It's very sad. Yeah, they all know. And I wouldn't put it past really Robin knowing more than what's said as well. For the fact that she scratched out about the red vehicle, about the red truck, telling people that they don't need to know about the red truck. That red truck, has been scratched out. But thank you too. I appreciate you. And I'm gonna say God bless and thanks for tuning in. Okay, I will. Thank you so much. Thanks for coming in and talking with me. That does help a lot. It helps me to stay strong when I got somebody and seeing somebody's words in front of me. I really appreciate you. You helped me pull through this live today. And you take care. Lots of love to you too. Bye.